The first two videos on the case study, this one general, the next one on the specific genetic algorithms, one of this year. So the first point I will make is that people take a look at paper 3, higher level paper 3, which literally is a paper when you're looking at the actual exam. And they think, well, that was easy. Well, that is going to be easy. Particularly when they realize that they receive, when writing paper 3, the case study itself, the 10, 12 pages, 6 pages, okay? So literally this 20% of higher level is 6 pages plus 2 pages. Okay? And 2 of those are the cover pages. So it seems very trivial, but it's not. And the secret is to realize why it's not and get your head around getting prepared. Because of the papers, standard higher 1, 2, and 3, the one that is done most poorly year to year is paper 3. So it's not that difficult for me to explain, so here it is in a few minutes. First of all, let's go to where it is. I mean, you know where it is by now. And maybe a little bit, I don't have a link, but I have it in the actual curriculum document, why the case study exists. Just briefly on it. It exists to give you and the teachers something new, something that's not 8, 10 years old, depending on how long the curriculum's been around. And we're up to almost 10 years at this point with the last curriculum. So it's to give fresh, current material for investigation. Okay, a current technology. And that's basically it. Along with being a part of the course where you do the research. It's not you learning stuff that is there to be learned from textbook or website. It's for you to go off and research. And you can do it together, and you can do it as a class, but primarily individually is the way that it's intended as you look down through the explanation of the case study. So back to what I've got here, and the key to really understand how to know what to do and how to do it is to take a look at some former papers and their case study. So I've opened up the CGI and the questions. And so as I did in class there a while ago, let's go to the test, the exam, and look at some more things up here. Motion capture, which you're probably pretty comfortable with what that is. So avars, do you know what avars are? I'm not even sure that I do. So that's the question. So we'll find avars. I was thinking it was avatars, but avars, somewhere over here is avars. This is kind of an interesting one, actually. Let's see. Look up avars and see where it appears. 1 of 5 matches. Okay, that's more than some. Just see where it appears. Okay, control point. So they're control points. Okay, I think I kind of get this. This was one of the case studies I actually missed when I was doing AP Computer Science for a couple of years in the middle. This is, at its simplest, can be straightforward translation of the X direction. However, in reality, the process is far more complicated. So there you go, right there. Right, that says it all. However, in reality, the process is far more complicated, as each scene will have many objects, and each object being rigged with possibly hundreds of control points, avars. Okay, so maybe the concept of avars is not that hard to get your head around, or maybe it is. And so this has made for a pretty good example that I'm not sure. I just can't read this either now or when I'm doing the actual exam and get the answer from these 3 or 5 references to avars. I need to research what avars are all about. And what was the question again? In this case, the relationship to them and to mocap. I think I get what they're asking. But I'm not sure. And so that's where AVARS, mocap, and all these other things that are mentioned in the case study, and a good place to start with what they are is the list at the end. All of these things, there's morphing, there's mocap, there's AVARS, right? So each one of these and each one of the concepts, ray tracing is not easy. Again, some of the stuff I know just because I know from other courses, but certainly with genetic algorithms as you're doing this year, you won't have seen that stuff before, other than just the stuff that relates to biology that you already do know. So you got to take the terms, you got to take the explanations that are here, and you got to run with them. You got to go off. A good way to approach this is to just start having read through the case study and just seeing what it's all about. Go to the terms and look up each and every one of them, and look them up and look them up and look them up until you understand, and particularly how they fit with this particular case. I mean, primitives. I mean, primitives means so many things, right? But somehow primitives, I don't know, probably rectangles or triangles, or I'm just guessing, I don't know. So I look up. And the next thing to do would be to pick some of these sections and really dig deeply into them and try to understand them. In which case, rather than a 1A or a 1B, where, well, there you go, in fact, these examples define the term primitive. Can't do it. That can't be that hard, though. So these are simple definitions. These are getting into a little bit more understanding the whole context and the whole paragraph there in the middle of the case study. And then finally, we move on to the question 4. Keeping in mind that this 20% of your whole IB computer science higher level is these 30 points only. The 12 of them, almost half, so this is almost 10% of your whole course, is based on you being able to answer question 4. And question 4, we go back to the IB document, but it stipulates exactly what it's supposed to be. It will be a question based on one of the challenges. There used to be 5 challenges at the end of the case study, now there are 4. So you got to go in and understand what they're asking for each one of them and really thoroughly investigate what would go into answering a hypothetical question based on any of these challenges faced. And you basically can have a canned answer. It's going to have to be specific to the conditions in the scenario that's presented in the case study, but you can pretty well take your time through each one of these and do the research and do the understanding to come up with a pretty good generic answer that you can just you can morph, to use the term from this case study, into being appropriate for what's being asked. So that's basically it. All right. Don't underestimate how difficult it can be. Don't underestimate the number of hours. You put in around 30 altogether. We put in, you put in 3 perhaps already, or a little bit more, working beyond class. So you've got more work that they want you to do, that they expect you to do, to be able to do a good job. So we'll do the second video on genetic algorithms particularly. Hopefully that clears up what is the purpose and the context of the IB Computer Science higher level case study.